Amazingly Enough, episode 24, recorded right here on our houseboat at Lake Powell, as promised.
As promised. It's going to take us a bit to release it, due to internet restraints, but...
So we did tote podcasting equipment all the way to Lake Powell and back and did not use it. And now we are back in the studio in Boulder. But let's start with that. The whole company, not the whole company, 2 staff members chose not to go, who we won't mention their names on air, Lane and Ryan High.
And Tom.
And Tom. Tom lives in Poland and he's under house arrest.
But he could have come.
Could have come. If it was important, he would have made it.
He just couldn't go back to home.
Yeah. He couldn't go back.
And we had
Very different.
We had a great time.
It was great.
And in no major laws were broken, but there isn't a whole lot that we can talk about.
Other than we just had a great time.
We did. And I said this so traveling with your coworkers, I think, has a lot of potential for failure.
Yeah.
But our team travels together as it is.
Yeah, we're professionals at traveling together.
And it worked out great. Everybody did their share. I probably did less because I hurt myself.
Day one,
I bruised my heel or lost a leg or something. And it went great. And then I said this as a joke, but it was so true. On the last day, I said, man, it was really great to have all you guys here. And you guys kind of just looked at me for the punchline. And it was because I was like, because I didn't get any email from you guys. And that was... honestly, it was the slowest work week we've ever had.
Yeah, I think people actually listen to the podcast.
They must listen to
it. Yeah.
And we even got some emails of people saying, can you do this? And somebody else would be like, yeah, they're out of town. They're not going to do that this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like from their team.
Yeah.
Like, you can't bother them.
So thank you to our customers. Yeah. I do not feel even slightly refreshed.
No, I feel run down.
Because the way we vacation is the way we put on events, and it's full steam ahead.
And it was 103 degrees.
Yeah, the low at night was like 85. And so after like 1 or 2 nights, nobody slept inside the houseboat.
Yeah.
I think, are you sure the low was even in the 80s?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 90s. The houseboat was a hunk of junk.
Yeah. It was. It was so awful.
Which worked out well.
It was perfect for us, honestly.
Because it would be like, hey, there's a fire, and somebody would be like, I'll put it out when I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So we had a good time, back to work. It was, whiplash was understatement when we came back on Thursday night, back in the office on Friday, getting ready for a busy event weekend. And you guys went to San Diego on Saturday for the business of running. How was that?
It was awesome. Honestly, have gone to either attended or worked a bunch of conferences at this point. And for me, I'm curious if Dylan feels the same way. It's the best conference there is. It's something special because it doesn't feel like a bunch of people talking at you. It feels like the community of run race organizers getting together and collectively getting better.
Yeah, truly collaborating and sharing experiences to bring up, the new small guys and it's just like you said, a community.
Yeah,
there were town hall conversations where truly everyone in the room wanted to put up their hand to talk on the mic and share their experiences, which is incredible.
And a lot of stuff that helped each other. You could tell someone in the room had the answer to any question that was asked because everyone has had so much experience and so much unique experience that the one that stands out is, I can't remember exactly what was said, but someone asked a question about how to logistically do something. And the Flying Pig Marathon was like, hey, we've done that exact thing. Here's what we did. And it's just really cool to see that level of collaboration from what are on paper competitors coming together collectively to make the entire industry better.
Yeah, and I learned that from my business mentor a long time ago. He said, get to know all your competitors here in Boulder. This is back when we were an IT company. Get to know all your competitors, go out to lunch with them, be friends with them. There's plenty of work to go around. And sure enough, one year we had a tough year and our biggest competitor gave us a ton of work. And then when we closed the IT business, we gave him we essentially gave him our business.
Yeah.
And yeah, no regrets. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. I kind of wished I was there because you guys sounded like you were having more fun than we were here back at home. And what a privilege to get to go. I mean, people pay to go to these things, and we get paid to go to these things, to do the AV and to coordinate and stuff like that.
And it's super relevant and valuable to us because we work in that space.
Right.
We're not just the sound guy, which I am curious how many people, like, other than the ones that we talked to, like the guy from the Flying Pig,
Yeah.
that like know that we're not just like some sound guys in black shirts in the black corner, but like, no, we're like running space.
Yeah, well, I saw a
professionals.
photo of you guys with Ted Metellus, who's a longtime friend.
Yeah.
And then who are the two other gentlemen? I can't remember.
Mike Nishi from the Chicago Marathon and Jack Fleming
Yep.
from Boston.
Yeah, so the three biggest.
They were on a panel, and me and Dylan, like after it, everybody was kind of clearing out, and we were like, we need to get a photo with them. That's some of the most important people in the running space, and like this is what we do. Like
Mike
how
mentioned
cool.
between the three of them, they have 100 years of experience.
Yeah.
I've known Ted since I started, and I was telling Marcus this story. I met Ted. I don't really remember, but we were in Lake Stevens, Washington. We used to have an Ironman 70.3 Lake Stevens there, and he was leaving another job, and he was doing some IT work. And I said, why would you waste your time with this if you're already out? And he said something that stuck with me ever since then. He said, I want to leave a legacy, not a scar.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And this was a job, I don't think he left on bad terms, but I don't think it was his choice. And to have that attitude and I've had that attitude when we've had customers that it didn't work out. Like, here's all your footage, here's your projects. Like, I'm not going to,
Yeah. Right.
there's nothing to be gained by holding that over your head. Although I would do it today. My attitude's changed.
I'd burn the bridge this time.
And you guys said the vibe was amazing.
It was awesome. Like everything, and they do cool stuff like they like rented out a bar and invited everyone, paid for everybody's Ubers so that they could be safe, go out drinking. And it was like a game bar. So there was like pinball machines and arcades and all kinds of stuff. So it's like the vibe is not you're at a conference. The vibe is like, these are your coworkers. Let's go hang out. The vibe is you're on a houseboat in Lake Powell.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think it's a good vibe because it's just like we've said, it's a good community of people, and the running industry, I think, is in a good space right now.
Yeah, true.
It's evolving into something newer, bigger, better. Was a big talking point by a lot of people.
Yeah.
New demographics coming into the scene or just evolving, and a lot of technology changing the space in good ways. I think the running industry is in a good space.
I think one of the most interesting things that was talked about, and it's not something I had ever framed this way in my head, but it was such a good way of framing it, is AI is coming. There's nothing we can do about it. It's going to help and hinder things throughout. We don't know how important it's going to be. We don't know what all it's going to do. But because AI is getting to the point where it's hard to discern reality from fiction with AI images, AI songs, it's going to be even more important to these upcoming generations to find real world spaces to hang out and to do activities. Because if you're there, you know it's real and it's tangible and it's actual human connection. And that's going to be so much more important going forward with the prevalence of AI. And they talked a lot about that. And it is cool. And you can kind of see that in the trends. In 2014 is whenever running started to drop off. It had kind of been in a surge. 2014 was its highest year, kind of started to drop off. Obviously, 2020, 2021 tanked it, but not for any reason other than you couldn't go outside.
You can
pandemic.
tell it's an outlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's almost back to 2014 levels and on the rise.
Wow.
So they're projecting that if it continues to grow at this rate, next year, 2026 will be more people than 2014.
And I think we kind of knew that just from our little bit of interaction with running races. The Boulder was off the charts this year, and some of the rock and roll marathons that we're a part of were bigger than usual.
Totally.
So that's good to know. And go ahead.
It was there was like kind of the other little thing about that was someone made this like connection that we're in this like new space of, like you said, experiences that we've come a long way from. At the beginning, we were producing races. And then for a while, like in the 2014 era, we're producing events, but now today it's all about that experience, that human connection.
Yeah.
And so that's where those are going. Like, and they talked about this like Diplo run. It was like a music festival with a 5K on the side, and it's exploding and totally changing the game for like Gen Z.
Yeah. And yeah, it's called Diplo's Run Club, which I think is it's intentional framing of what it is. This is not a race. This is, let's go have a 5K and a party. Let's hang out.
And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he runs. Like I get he puts on a run, but I think I remember seeing he did the New York City Marathon or half marathon or something like that.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Big thanks to Christine Bowen.
Yeah.
Because she was a client of ours with another customer and took us with her to this endeavor. And I think we've talked about this on the podcast. We've really struggled to come up with a mission or something like that for our company. But what we do have is we want to work for people that we consider friends and we enjoy to be around and we enjoy their events. And she fills that bill, and the business of running fills that bill.
Well, and I told them this in person too, is so Christine, Alex, Dave, all the people from the ASICS apps they're so awesome. They brought us in and include us as part of the team. Like the way we work everywhere we go is we're part of your team. We're not the sound guys. We're part of the team. We're going to help however we can. And they feel the same way about us, that we're part of their team. And that's huge. That makes you want to go to bat for somebody and work even harder.
Yeah. And then I think you guys told me that they were like, see you next year.
Yes.
And man, does that go a long ways when a customer tells you, see you next year for an event. You put them on the schedule with or without a contract, and you plan on being there. And sometimes it doesn't happen, but more times than not, it does, or it's outside their control.
Yeah.
And so looking forward to next year. I said today we should intercept her and say, how about Boulder?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a great place to run.
Alex said they need to find a place.
Yeah.
Boulder,
Colorado, the Julian Hotel, 4 blocks from the 500 Cat Studio. So, and then we have a whole list of things to go through today. Chronologically, let's go back. While we were at Lake Powell was Challenge Roth.
Yeah.
And there was at least 2 people that we had a bunch of skin in the game. And one of them was Bob Gitsum.
Yeah.
He's been a longtime fan. He was on episode 1.
Yeah.
And his big goal was to get to Challenge and finish under 15 hours. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And he got yanked from the run course, mile 7 or something like that. So, Bob, we love you, dude. Who cares? Like I know you care, Bob, but
right.
You're still like our hero. And to
100%.
go through what he's been through an awful head-on car wreck that he probably shouldn't have lived from, and then came back to Ironman and triathlon and has done Kona and then was like, I'm going to do Challenge. So I assume that story's not over.
Oh, 100%.
With him, it never is.
Well, and it's interesting because I read his post-race report, and it was like he swam an extra 0.7 miles.
That's a bad idea.
He was like, I don't know how I did it. It's a canal. How did I do this? And his whole recording is just zigzags all the way down the canal. And he was like, that just burned me. I had a bad day on the bike and then got pulled mile 7 on the run. So it's unfortunate.
He's not the only other one that had, according to her, not me, had not a great race, was Laura Siddall. Mm-hmm. And Laura's a coworker and a friend, Springer Spaniel owner, so that goes a long ways. And she's retiring, and it was going to be her last race.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to catch up with Laura and have a chat with her. All right, I'd like to welcome our friend, first of all, and pro athlete, Laura Siddall, to 500 Cats.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, cool to have you here. So if you don't know who Laura is, she's a pro triathlete, but she's also a commentator for Ironman. And she was in the studio recording the Athletic Brewing post-race show, which she does a day or two after each of our shows. She comes in and records like a recap show. So one of the things we learned a couple weeks ago is we have pros in our office every week to snake them over for our podcast. But she was nice enough. You just came home from Challenge Roth.
I did, yeah.
And you said you didn't have the race you wanted, but you said it was incredible.
Yeah, for me, that race is like just the best. The whole event, the atmosphere, the Volshofer family who run it. And it's just got bigger and bigger. And I hadn't been there it was my 6th time racing and my 9th time in Roth. But I wasn't there last year. So going back this year, and it just boomed again. Like the expo looked like it was on steroids. So yeah, I didn't have the race I wanted, but that's kind of sport. But the whole week and atmosphere, and even the finish line, I had a great finish line, and the party goes on into the evening, and the flames and fireworks and laser show, and yeah, it's a pretty unique, special race.
And you chose that race intentionally because and that's one of the things I want to talk about. You're retiring from pro sports, and you chose that. And I think you said to me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you would have liked it to be Kona.
Yeah.
But Roth wasn't, not necessarily like a second choice, but it was one of those two. And so you chose Roth.
Yeah, like Roth is the first race that goes in my calendar every year. And it has been since the first time I did it in 2016. And I've had a rough couple of years, so I've not raced that much with various sort of injuries and health problems. But I wanted to go out on my terms. So this year was about trying to get back to racing. And yeah, the fairy tale year was to do Roth in the middle of the year, but to have already qualified for Kona for one last time. It's all Women's Day in Kona this year, and it would have been great to kind of finish it out, also sort of the calendar year, and have that in Kona. But I realized pretty early on in the year that it was going to be a big ask to get an Ironman done to get that qualification. I am older than most of the women racing these days. I've certainly found it a struggle to get back to the level I used to be, and part of that is the last 2 years. Part of that is just age catching up, and the way the sport is going, it's just getting faster and faster. So I just decided that I think Roth is that's the race that probably means the most to me, and it just then made sense to go, okay, let's just make that the last one and have the final fling.
Tell us about the end. That there had to be. There's the carpet. There's the finish. There's after the race. Like tell us like the emotions and stuff.
So, because it wasn't a great day, it was then kind of like a real struggle to get round. It wasn't, you're trying to enjoy it and take it all in, but when you're really struggling to put one foot in front of the other on the marathon, it's hard work, and I kind of knew it was going to be a long day, but I was determined to get to the finish line. There was no plan B, wasn't an option for me not to finish. And, Roth, as I said, I've been there for 9 years. I have such good relationships with the whole team there, and they all came out to see me finish. And whilst I was way behind the winner and fair bit down, they'd all waited around. And Roth has a tradition as well. The champions get kids with balloons following down. Well, they'd got kids with balloons for me. They gave me a big welcome, got the stadium all standing ovation. All the team were down at the finish line. Alice gave me the medal, which is the mum of Felix and Catherine, who it's their event. Guest goosebumps, and just so many friends and familiar faces. And then when the evening sort of entertainment starts, the finish line party, and it's getting dark, but there's lasers and flames and DJs, and it's just this big pumping stadium. And you've obviously got the majority of athletes finishing at that time. They called me up into this. They've got a stage in the middle of the stadium. They called me up there, presented me with a gift, and they'd put a compilation of images and stuff up on the big screen. So yeah, it was pretty special.
Nice. Wow, it sounds amazing. What makes Roth so special? I know why it's special for you,
Yeah.
and you kind of nailed it, but in long distance or full distance triathlon, it really is two races. It's Ironman in Kona, the Ironman World Championships in Kailua Kona, and Roth. What makes Roth, how does Roth like measure up? We know it does.
Yeah.
But what makes it so outrageously popular?
I think like it's a family atmosphere, which is crazy because it's this family that have created and built this, but it is huge race. And I think the people as well are a huge part of that. You have 7,000 volunteers. There's a wait list for volunteers. There's local regions in the area that are emailing Felix saying, can you change the bike course and the run course so it comes through our town? Because we want to be out there supporting. And you've got generations, like there's adults now that first watched the race as kids and have grown up, like their parents volunteered or were involved in the organization. And they have been as kids, and now they're adults and their kids are all involved. It's just this all-encompassing, incredible relationships with the whole region. You genuinely feel so welcome to be there. And there are some, Kona has some, and I understand why Kona is special, and I think they're just different. Roth, it's iconic, the swim start in the canal, the mist is coming off, the cannon fires, there's hot air balloons rising up in this little, German church. Solaraberg Hill on the bike course is the closest a triathlete will get to riding the Tour de France up a hill. It's packed with crowds, you can't see the road, you sort of come around this sweeping bend and you look ahead and it's just a sea of people and you're like, where the hell do I go? But as you get closer, they just part and you have this narrow single track up.
The Tour.
Like the Tour, exactly. Like you see all the famous climbs. And then I think like the Finish Line Stadium, there's no other race that has a finish in a stadium which is just pumping as a party goes on and on and on. And I just think, obviously Roth, Kona has the World Championship title and it means so much to people and I totally understand that, and it's the history of the sport. And there's, the magic of being down at Digby Beach and then the just barrenness of the lava fields. And Roth is just this totally different atmosphere, and it's a region that just loves the sport and people come out in their thousands. And then you get people camping overnight to get a slot the next year. It's just crazy.
Wow. It looks awesome, but you make it sound awesome. You describe it well. So retirement, is it scary?
Yes. Yeah, it's a little, obviously I've been thinking about it. It's not a complete out the blue, but and I've been thinking about it for quite a few years, like what is the plan after? But it's also then hard in this last few months. I found it hard to sort of do too much afterwards because it was taking so much energy just to get to the race. But yeah, obviously I've been having lots of conversations with people, and which has been really good, just to try and get a gauge on what could be good, what could be out there. I would love to stay in the sport in some way. That would be my passion. And I have worked corporate before. I spent 7-8 years, actually probably 10 years in the corporate world before I then did full-time athlete. So I know what it's like. I'm not sure I want to go back to the 9 to 5, having for the last 10 years lived my life of, my own plan. But yeah, it's scary, but it's exciting, I think, because there's opportunity as well.
Yeah, and you know this, you just said it, but being able to look at something and saying there's opportunity here, as much as it sounds scary, because the profession I'm in doesn't have anything to do with my physical skills.
Yeah.
It's so I probably have years left, and like you said, we are getting older, but the sport's getting crazy fast.
Yeah.
And so there's this pressure that maybe wasn't there 10 years ago. Maybe it was, and I didn't notice it or something. What's next?
I've been back a week, so it's just a bit of decompressing. I seem to be busy looking after everyone's dogs, but that's fine.
And you got a Springer Spaniel.
And I've got a Springer Spaniel. So to be fair, they looked after him for the last two 2 weeks. So
the people on
I'm
the podcast
repaying.
know that we have a Cocker Spaniel because they
okay.
come in the studio and bark.
Yeah.
And if you noticed when we recorded your segment, the door was closed.
Yeah.
But now we're doing 500 cats. The dogs can come in the
Yeah.
studio. So Springer Spaniel owner, so that gives you some extra
So exactly.
credit.
So that, I mean, I hope he's 11 months now. So I hope like when he gets older, we can do adventures and stuff
What's
like
his
that
name?
together. Koru.
Karu.
Koru, Koru. It's a Maori New Zealand name. I did
Nice.
spend some time there.
And obviously New Zealand and Australia are special.
Yep.
Because you've had quite a career. You won Ironman Australia 4 or 5 times?
3 times.
3 times.
But New Zealand once as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you've
So,
had
yeah.
a very storied career.
Yeah, like I think this next few weeks, months, it's trying to take that all in and appreciate that. Because I think at the time when you're in it and with athletes, you know, as soon as you've raced, you sort of almost on to the next race and how can you be better, and you've torn that one to bits. So it's kind of trying to look back on what I've done and what I've achieved and think of all the good memories. And like, I would never have dreamt as a kid I would be a professional athlete and living in, Australia, New Zealand, out here in Boulder and stuff like that. So just trying to take that moment to appreciate it before sort of, because I probably didn't give myself credit. I don't think we ever do whilst you're in it.
I don't see how you guys could give yourself credit, or after winning Australia, you qualify for Kona, and then now your life is focused on Kona.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
and so it never stops for you guys.
Yeah.
And just doing a single Ironman and it burning 6 months of my life, to think of doing that for how many years? I saw the results on the web go back to like 2012.
Yeah. I think I started triathlon as a complete beginner 2009. So age 29 as well, so a little bit older than most athlete, and then did 4 or 5 years as an age grouper, I should say amateur, and then in 2014 I think turned professional.
Nice.
Which again, at the age of like 33, 34, when most athletes are retiring from professional sport, and I'm just starting my journey. So, yeah.
And then had a great career after that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And then I think when I moved when I joined Julie Dibbons out here in Colorado, she gave me almost like a second lease of life in triathlon. I think before with my previous coach, and we split on very good terms. He was what I needed at the start. But I almost was thinking about retirement back then because I was approaching 40, and that was like, oh, we all retire at 40. And then moved to Julie, and she just gave me this new belief in what I could achieve. And we had a 2020, we obviously went through COVID, but then 2022, I came 2 top 10s in the Ironman World Championships, and I never would have dreamt I would have got 1 top 10, let alone 2 in the same year. And then, going into the next year, I was in 2023, I was probably in the fittest of my life. And then unfortunately, Ironman Brazil got hit by a car, and I think just since then, everything else has sort of caught up, and it's been harder to get back. I think if I'd have, got through Brazil, I think momentum, and I still felt I was getting better, and I still felt we had things we could improve. But I think that kind of was okay, and then everything's just been harder to get back, and everything catches up on you. It was almost like I was holding off age until then, and then it all sort of.
Oh, you
back.
were. I mean, you
Yeah.
had great results later than a lot of people
Yeah.
do. So, if you look at your career, what was the worst race? What was the worst experience or worst rate? It could have been the position you finished in, or it could have just been emotionally the worst race.
I think there were some races when I was very new into triathlon as a professional in a career, and I was still sort of learning how to race the Ironman. But they're so long ago, I've probably dismissed them. Unfortunately, the worst race performance-wise was actually the last one here in Roth just now, which is kind of been bittersweet because the race means a lot to me, and I trained as hard as I could, and I wasn't going to win. We knew that, but I still felt I could have a decent race, and you always want to have a good race there just to give back to everybody, and also being the last race. But I just think it was kind of probably mind and body just saying, yep, you've had a good run, but this is one race too far, and we'll get round it and we'll get to the finish. But kind of that's it. But I've been really lucky in my career. I've never been completely humbled by the marathon. I've always kind of got through, but this time in Roth, it was really like down to, walking those aid stations and giving myself a talking to at times and being in some pretty bleak places.
But you finished.
But I finished. That was a goal. Like the goal was to get to the finish line. So yeah, and they gave me a great send off. So yeah.
What was the best race in your career?
Ooh, the best race. I would say, well, I came second at Roth twice. So to the then current world champion. So I think probably the Roth race that means the most was in 2021. So we'd missed the COVID year. And then in 2021, it had moved from July, where it normally is, to September. And I was a reserve guide for British Paralympic triathlon team. So I was actually out in Tokyo the week leading into Roth and then flew straight to Roth. And so was fairly sort of unsure where I was at and form and came away with second, which was probably a huge highlight. But I mean, I can't probably split up, every win you're just grateful for because for me, they don't come around that often. So like the first time I won Ironman Australia was definitely special. I started triathlon in Australia, so sort of having the first win there and a lot of friends had come to watch. That second year where I went back and I was given the number 1 bib, which is not very common for the women. That's really special. And then I won in the third year in a row. I'd come into the race with some real difficult months of training. So it was an incredible feeling to get that win. And then that same year, or 2018, I then won Ironman New Zealand as well. And that was incredibly special and such a high because I spent 6 months of the year in New Zealand every summer sort of thing. So yeah, it's hard to pull out one race. Those okay. Wins have got, special memories.
Are you going to stay in Boulder?
Yes, as long as my visas and things work out.
Yeah,
so yeah,
things have changed in the States, which is what we hope you do.
That's the short, long-term plan, I should say. I love being here and being able to, I'm looking forward to exploring the mountains and still running and riding and probably some swimming just to keep fitness and exercising and movement because it's such a part of our lives that we want to keep doing it. But yeah, maybe not as much structure.
Last question, since we just sidetracked you into the 500 Cats podcast. Is there somebody you want to thank and maybe it's two things, somebody you want to thank and something you want to point out that helped make you successful, or is it all one thing?
Gosh.
You mentioned Julie Dibbins.
Yeah, I just posted actually today, a massive thank you to her. Like I said, she kind of gave me a second lease of life to my career. And also, since that accident in Brazil, she's been an absolute rock to me. And I know it's been hard for her at times. So I think, she's got me through a lot the last few years and got the results we have.
She's everything she's cracked up to be.
She is. She's one of the most underrated coaches.
And it's funny when you say underrated, but they coach world champions.
Yeah. But
that's, you're right. There's certain bands that you can say, they're underrated, but they're like, hey, they're one of the best bands in the world. They're better than that.
She doesn't like the limelight, so she doesn't. She hates. She'll hate anybody talking about her or any, try and get her on a podcast and good luck sort of thing.
She's only been in the studio once or twice in all our years.
Yeah,
which is amazing to me.
But she's when she does speak, she's got so much knowledge and experience.
Incredible.
And I think she's the best coach I've had contact with in triathlon. And I just think, not enough people realize how good she is. So it would be a massive probably thank you to her and her dog Dakota, because Dakota got me through a lot of dark times and the reason why I got my dog. But, thank you, my
and she has a Springer thing too.
He's a small Munsterlander.
Which is some kind of spaniel.
Very, very similar to Springer Spaniel.
I saw her out at the Res. I was riding my bike. We just passed each other, but she had their dog. And interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and just on everybody that listens to the podcast knows we do video and we interview people. she's turned me down, not that many times because I stopped asking.
Yes.
Like she's
Yeah.
standing there in Boulder at the race doing absolutely nothing. Can I get a soundbite? And she's very polite. I'd rather not.
Yeah.
And then now I just say hi.
Yeah. She and you know she's great when she says stuff.
She's great
But she
either
just
way.
does not like that kind of
Fair enough.
attention and focus. But yeah, she's
modest.
yeah. But she's been amazing. And I mean, gosh, I could list a whole host of people and family. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've loved working with you. I remember when we first met you, you came into the studio. I think it was maybe 2019 for Ironman New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were like, my attitude's changed a little bit on pros. The last thing we need is a pro in the studio watching us do our thing. And we struck up a conversation, and without me asking, you said how important the volunteers are. And I said, yeah. She's all right.
Yeah.
It's been great working with you. You're not retired to me because we have a Athletic Brewing post-race show next week to record after Ironman Lake Placid. So thanks for giving us your time. I know you didn't plan on it today.
No, thank you. It's been great to catch up.
Good luck.
Thank you.
See ya. I like her.
Yeah, Laura's amazing.
I work with her like me personally work with her once a week. As we mentioned, we do the Athletic Brewing post-race show, so she's here once a week, and we get to catch up. And I've mentioned it before. She values my opinion, and do I need my opinion valued? Probably, but it goes a long ways.
Yeah.
And especially when you're talking to a professional triathlete, and you're like, I think this, and they say, oh, that's interesting, and consider this and that, and so I like that.
Yeah.
And so kudos to her. And as we mentioned, she's part of our team and stuff. So
100%.
Moving on. So we started with Lake Powell, then we went to Business of Running, then we went back to while we were at Lake Powell Roth. And then back to this past weekend, we broadcast Ironman 70.3 Swansea. It was rough.
Yeah.
We had technical issues on our end.
Right.
And they aren't typically on our end. And here's how you know when you're having technical issues is when ESPN calls you on the phone.
That is a pretty indicative sign.
And when it's at the very beginning of the broadcast, so nobody missed any racing, but we're having an audio problem. And these guys are real pros. But it comes up on my phone as ESPN, Bristol, Connecticut. And they don't call to say, good job.
No.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
But that's just not what they're there to do. We did get it fixed, but we had to reboot a piece of equipment during the show. It was during the pre-show, but nevertheless, it's during the show.
Yeah.
And it's just rough. Like that gets you started off rattled. It's
Yeah.
like throwing an interception in the first quarter.
Starts off on the back foot.
And all in all, from the viewer standpoint, I think the show went well, but internally it was just a nonstop battle on little technical gremlins. And we did something different. We had two of our hosts were in the field. Mm-hmm. So we had Matt Lieto here in the studio. Matt does a great job as always. And then we had Joe Skipper and Fraser Cartmel in Swansea on a live view pack, and they did great. Everybody did great. But it took a while to get that interaction between our hosts here in Boulder, communicating with our hosts in the field, and have it be smooth and have them not talk on top of each other. And one thing is we were like, let's not set up this remote broadcasting area near the speakers. And in the very opening scene, there's like a scaffold with like towered speakers, like
awesome.
right there. Like it's like their tent covering part of it. And so to get a little techie, there's a feature on the TriCaster that's called voice isolation, where it knocks out background noise, and it literally doesn't work. But it was so bad I had to give it a try, and it worked great. It was a silver bullet.
Yeah.
So it works whenever it's the worst conditions possible.
Whenever it's really, really bad, it works. But if you're just doing like a corporate AV and you want to cut out that room noise, it doesn't work.
Fascinating.
But if you have $100,000 PA pointing at your, it knocked that stuff right out. And then we got to the end where they weren't near a PA, and I was like, oh, I'm going to turn this off just to see how much different. And I was like, nope. And so that was a rough one. I'm glad to move on from Swansea. But again, if you go watch the broadcaster stuff, you won't notice a lot of that stuff unless you're in South America.
How did the event actually look?
Amazing.
Whales and
Bluebird Day.
yeah.
Nice.
Great race. Great racing. Our partner on the ground, ASO, Let's See TV, killed it. They did a great job. We were told we were going to have cell issues, and they didn't really have cell issues. And from an athlete standpoint, nobody talked about last year's winner, Harry Palmer, until he was in the lead and won. And and credit to the hosts, they admitted it.
Yeah.
They were like, man, none of us called this guy, and we should have. And then Kat Matthews just did what Kat Matthews does. She didn't have a great swim, came out a couple minutes down, and I don't think anybody was worried.
Yeah.
Even though there was a decent field, and she moved through the field on the bike into the lead and then never looked back.
Yeah.
So
She's incredible.
I saw like one of the big story points was the third place female. It was like Daniela Kleiser.
Crazy runner.
In the pro press conference, she's like, yeah, I'm going to do a 3:15 kilometer run pace. And everyone's like, okay. And she basically did. It was like 3:30. I checked it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Kat was like, bring it.
if she could get her swim and her bike tightened up, she's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as that comes together, she's going to be a 70.3 world champ contender
Yeah.
because of that run. And yeah, they look good. And then one last thing, going all the way back to Lake Powell, we did get very few emails, but one of them was like, hey, we want to do a 4-box.
Yeah.
And we're on the lake, of course, just minding our own business, nothing else. And while we were at the lake, we created a 4-box, sent it off to our partner in Europe, and then the 4-box came up during the broadcast and looked great.
Yeah.
I was impressed. And then some other people in the industry said, like, our petition is what made this happen.
And so now it's gone.
It wasn't the petition. It was the guys at Lake Powell and Tom in Poland.
Yep.
So
Yeah, just sitting on a lake in nothing but a swimsuit.
and what a bad coincidence that I heard that Challenge had done it. Roth had done it a few days earlier, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
But then everybody's like, you guys just copied these guys. Apparently we did.
Yeah.
So kudos, we're second.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a couple other races last weekend. Muscle Man, I heard everything went well there. And then Muncie, Ironman 70.3 Muncie. And our good friend Corey was our representative. Corey and Eric from our team were there. And Corey called me and he said, this might be our best event. And I agree. Muncie loves Ironman, and it's just the coolest, laid back. If you're looking for a good event from any level, but especially if you're a first timer.
Yeah.
Amazing event. And then the last thing about last weekend is every single team's flights were messed up.
Every single one.
Dude, it was
Even you guys
insane.
coming home
Yeah.
from the business of running got home.
Our 2-hour flight was 6 hours
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the plane. We were on the plane the whole 6 hours.
And then we had to leave a guy in Muscle Man because he needed to be at Lake Placid and he wasn't going to get home in time. He wasn't going to get home in enough time to go home and sleep and get up and go back to the airport, which we probably should have just left him there in the first place.
Right.
But Michael LaFiles stayed in Muscle Man. And then big thanks to Miguel, who works for Ironman, I think Site. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've met him. Gave him a ride to Placid.
Nice.
Nice.
So, and then those guys going to Placid, which is this coming weekend, their flight was messed up. So luckily, Michael LaFiles got there earlier in the day to start getting things set up because the rest of the team came in the middle of the night.
That's crazy.
Every flight.
My bag got broken.
Yeah.
And
Right.
fortunately, it's an Osprey bag, so they're probably going to fix it for you.
Yeah.
The airline isn't.
No.
What did they offer you?
They offered me a Samsonite.
That
I
they
hear-
stole
roller.
from someone.
I hear that's good stuff. Is that on par with Osprey?
Not even close. You can get this stuff at Walmart.
Yeah, Samsonite's a good Walmart brand for sure.
I have an Osprey bag, and there's lots of good. I like Dakine and North Face and stuff, but I have an Osprey backpack that's now like 5 years old and still looks new.
Yeah.
And my mom just recently had one for 20, I didn't even know they were around 25 years ago. And she sent it back to see if they could fix a pocket. And they just said, we can't, here's a new one.
Awesome.
I'd be interested to see if there's a way to find out how many miles this bag has gone through. It's gone around the world, I mean, almost 10 times probably. And, you know, with my whole career with this job, so like 7 years of, that's just, it's like, other than just they ripped the zipper open, like it's like it dragged on like a corner and it like cut the bag at the zipper.
Yeah.
Other than that, it still works great. Like
you could probably look at your mileage for United and then add like 25% because we, and then we drive sometimes too. So
true.
Well, and it was my wife Kate's before we even met each other, and she took it to Kenya a couple times and Hawaii a few times, and it'd also
Osprey. Be interesting to see how many places it's been.
Yeah,
even outside of mileage.
Yeah, Osprey, man, I'll be a customer for life. That's for sure.
I think like we joke about being professional travelers, but it does matter.
It does.
And I think it really showed when we went to Lake Powell that everybody was professional travelers. And from an operational standpoint, besides breaking the boat, like everything went really smooth. But getting a good backpack and good luggage, like something that I don't really care if it has wheels, although I did migrate to wheels a couple years ago because those usually break, but I got a Decline suitcase and the wheels haven't broken yet. But getting the right travel gear, it doesn't have to be expensive,
right?
But it has to be something made to last.
Yeah, that's what's so hard.
Which is expensive.
Yeah.
Not the Samsonite hard shells.
You gotta, the issue is to get something that lasts, you do have to, it does have a price tag on it. And yeah, you can go to Walmart and buy the duffel that's $50, but you might have to buy another one in a couple days, or you can spend $200 right now and not buy another one for 5 years.
I will just disagree a skosh on the Walmart side of things that in Kona, I bought that green military-looking backpack like 10 years ago, and it's like my third string backpack. I take it to like Red Rocks when I will be okay if it doesn't make it home, and that thing just keeps on ticking. So,
nice.
And it's hard to tell at Walmart.
Yeah,
where did they suck the life out of the company, and where did they? Because they sell like these great Realtree fishing shirts for $20 that are usually like $85.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I bought a duffel. That was a real world experience. I bought a big duffel going to Florida last year because I was bringing your skateboard. And so I was like, I need another bag anyway. I need a big one. And so I got one that would fit the skateboard, and it had like a pocket underneath that was zippered. I was like, this is perfect. And I did it, and it came off of the plane. And the zipper was open and my stuff was spilling out, and I shoved it back in. Everything made it, but it's just on the ride up. The zipper just opened. All right.
So buy the right stuff.
Buy the right stuff.
Next subject, the tour. We took a Starlink to Lake Powell so we could keep up on work, but so we could watch the tour. So we watched the tour every day.
Every morning.
Even down in like slot canyons.
Yeah.
The Starlink worked. When the one time we were in a slot canyon, it would buffer every few minutes. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like perfect, but it was in a place where there was absolutely no cell service, absolutely no nothing, and the Starlink worked.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We were basically parked under an overhang. Like the direct view of the sky was like, perfectly straight up from us was not direct view of the sky.
Right. No, 100%.
We were in a cave almost.
And
there was that cool like iron oxide mark on the wall.
Yeah, where the water spills down. And it was spectacular getting to watch the tour. But one of the things I've taken away, so I've loved watching the tour. Kudos to all the athletes. It's just wildly exciting, and this is going to be a hot take that if we had a YouTube comments section, this would light it up.
They would blow up over this.
I like American unsupported cycling better than I like you have 9 bikes today, and if you don't break all 9 of them, you'll finish the race.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, and I get it, this is just the nature of the beast, but it seems like money. Mm-hmm. I get it. The NFL, all major sports are this way, but money has a big direction and how successful you are, and
Yeah.
not taken away from Tadej Pogačar, who looks like he might win the Tour again.
Yeah.
Although he lost the jersey yesterday and didn't get it back again today and had a wreck, but got back up on his bike and kept going and didn't give up really any time. But I just, we've started covering American cycling, and there's no support cars.
Yeah.
You're out there on your own. If you break down, you kind of got to fix yourself
Yeah.
and get back going. And essentially, American cycling is gravel. Like
True.
the road
Yeah.
stuff isn't taking off as much as we all wish it would. Except, I mean, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but Levi's race was wildly successful.
Yeah,
Levi's
true.
Gran Fondo. But gravel is kind of American cycling. And Levi's Gran Fondo was, even though it was on paved roads most of the way, it was kind of like a gravel race.
Yeah.
With
a
all the
bun-
gravel athletes.
with all the gravel athletes.
Yeah. And some sections that were just gravel.
Yeah.
Those are just California roads. So I personally love watching the Tour, but I think trying to compare American cycling to the rest of the world is probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're ever going to see that kind of cycling come back to the States because it's so
Yeah.
much more popular everywhere else than it is in the States. But I kind of like the way we do it.
Do you think Keegan would stand a chance in the Tour?
I don't know. I'd like to ask him that. I mean, he's like one of the best on what we're calling American cycling. And unfortunately, I don't know where you could compare his results to, Matteo Jorgensen, who's in 5th right now in the Tour overall,
Yeah.
which is amazing. You do not usually see a U.S. flag in the top 10 very often.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do now. So kudos to him. And all of them. They're all having a great race, and I can't wait to see what Sepp Kuss is going to do in the mountains because he was out injured.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, I love cycling, period, but I do love the way we do it, and a lot of people don't.
I think it's so interesting because looking at it with support versus not support, strategy is so interesting how different it is. Like Pogačar.
You can call him Pogačar.
Pogačar. Pogačar. He's such an amazing cyclist, and his strategy has to focus on being the best cyclist. And then there's a support car right there if something else goes wrong. They can fix it. They can put him back on a new bike. They can hand him a water bottle, et cetera, et cetera. Keegan has to do all of that on his own, more or less. Yes, there's an aid station somewhere in the 200 miles, but if he goes down, like he went down and Unbound, you got to get back on and keep going.
Yeah, and there's no team car and
No
stuff.
team car. No one's going to help you. No one's going to stop if you fell and had a boo-boo, It's interesting to watch the way the strategy has to play out differently when you're not supported.
That's kind of why I ask, because they're arguably different enough sports that, like, can you really compare Pogačar and Keegan?
I don't think you can.
It's hard. You'd have to see them at the same time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting just from a mechanical perspective. Again, there's no YouTube comments, so just save it. But I'm guessing a lot of these U.S. cyclists are better at fixing their bikes because they have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
They don't have mechanics.
They practice it and do it themselves. They have teams and sponsors, but I would wager a guess that, when Keegan is out on a training ride on the weekend and like he carries stuff with him and fixes his own flats and training, and I think he's probably like a cyclist like we are and goes out and rides by himself, and it's just probably just different.
Yeah.
And one last thing where I'm going to give U.S. cycling props is in the U.S., women's cycling and men's cycling are closer to popularity than they are on the global scale.
Yeah.
That when you go to Europe, yes, they have the Tour de France Femmes and stuff like that, and which is amazing, and I watch that also. But in the U.S., like in Levi's or Sea Otter or Unbound, they're on equal platform, equal pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about further sponsorship, but prize money.
Yes.
And that's not the case everywhere else in the world. So I think one thing U.S. cycling has done a great job at is leveling the field.
Totally.
Between men and women cycling, because we just talked about Keegan and all these men, but there's all these amazing women cyclists. One of them we're going to be following this weekend, Lauren Stevens, is doing the Foco Fondo.
Yeah.
And we're going to be part of a race in Fort Collins this weekend called Foco Fondo. And we're going to be doing something that, for lack of a better term, would be called like broadcast light. Yeah. That, you know, it's 4 or 5 cameras rather than 10.
Yeah.
And a single commentator, and we're doing it from a van on site.
Yeah.
And we're doing a cloud production, which is scary.
Dude, I'm so nervous. I know I can do it. It's just, I'm just nervous.
Yeah.
It'll be our first time doing a full cloud not coming through Boulder.
Yeah. And I think it'll all work out.
Yeah, totally.
And I think expectations aren't the same of having a zillion person crew.
Right.
That it's different.
Yeah, totally.
So a huge weekend coming up, moving on from American Cycling. You guys will be a part of American Cycling at the Foco Fondo, and that's in Fort Collins, Colorado. And we got a great team, professional moto drivers, professional cameramen. And then also we have Ironman Lake Placid, which is kind of, you could say it's the big show in North America. I mean, I think Texas is also the big show in North America, but incredibly deep field, extremely difficult venue because of the ruralness of the Adirondack Mountains. And we did a camera test last week with Starlink, and it was 1,000,000 times better.
1,000,000 times better.
This might be the first time we see Placid live, like legitimately.
Yeah, true.
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, no promises, but maybe.
Yeah, you never know. It's like when you start putting 5 Starlinks out on course and motos and batteries, and it's a lot of work. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's coming through the studio here in Boulder, and that's always fun.
Yeah,
Scary.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like I've slept well the last few weeks, and I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about just hardware and software and things that didn't go right last weekend, and got no sleep. So, and then we have Ironman 70.3 Ohio, and we have Ironman 70.3 Oregon.
Yeah.
Which I think is a super cool race. I haven't been to Ohio or Oregon, but I've seen photos and video, and they both look awesome.
Yeah.
And then kudos to Ironman, announced a new race this week in Dallas, for lack of a better term, but Little Elm.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be, I don't know if I love this idea or not, but that'll be the first race of the season for us doing 70.3s, because
so it's before 70.3 Texas?
Yes, it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks before.
I didn't pay attention to the date.
Mid-March.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yikes.
Yikes.
I don't know if
they're just creeping earlier and earlier into our ski season.
And I don't know if that's good. Yeah, that is during the ski season, so that could be
I'm
an
sick
issue
that
too.
week. Sorry.
And so if we live through this weekend, then we'll get to fight another day. And just to touch on a few things coming up, first year race, Ironman Canada in Ottawa is a monster. And some of it happens like on the Capitol grounds, and you know, like I'm going to just predict right now, you're not flying a drone.
You know,
I know they said you're flying a drone.
I would agree with that.
It just seemed
we're prepped not to fly a drone.
They did say that they want drone shots of the Capitol.
Yeah.
Which we're happy to do, but we weren't able to get permission to fly over the Capitol in Wisconsin, which is a state capital.
Yeah.
And this is their
Parliament building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously in the U.S., the exultant ruler is the FAA. People like to say there's permits and blah, blah, blah. It's just between the pilot and the FAA. What does it look like in Canada? Is the 107, is it just meaningless there? Is that like...
I used to have a hobbyist permit that in Penticton, the police department showed me how to get so I could fly underneath the airport. Basically, that the airplanes come in right over the venue.
Yeah.
And he walked me through everything I needed to do to make that happen. But that was 6 years ago. It just came up on my memories.
Nice.
So 6 years ago. And then we have the Littleton Twilight Criterium, American Cycling. First time we'll have covered a criterium a little scary again because we have to do the whole production on the ground because there's a bunch of LED walls on the ground that have to be in real time. And that's usually not our problem when we're here in Boulder and they're in Swansea.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, sorry, it had to come to Boulder and back to you guys. It's 5 seconds behind. But here where we're going to do it on the ground and we're going to lean on DJI wireless and DJI drones a bunch. And the city of Littleton has been solid, tight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big initiative for them.
They know what they're doing.
You can kind of tell, I think, that there must be someone behind the city of Littleton that is pushing cycling. And not only because of this event, which has grown in popularity over the years, but when we went down and did a site visit, you can just feel like the city is kind of like it's cycling friendly. There's a ton of cycling shops and signs that say bike path this way and 2 miles to the bike shop that way and bike lanes, protected bike lanes everywhere. You can tell someone cares about cycling.
Nice.
Which is cool.
I'm really bummed I won't be at that one because that's the same weekend as Ottawa. So I'll be in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But I really wish I was helping with the crit.
Yeah, I wish you were too.
Yeah.
In all honesty. Because you talked me into buying that lens and then it's just sitting on the table. And then after that, the following weekend, Leadville 100.
Yeah.
Live broadcast, never been done before. Guaranteed failure.
Guaranteed failure. That's where we shine. Guaranteed failure. We might go down, but we're going to go down swinging.
I think we're going to do great.
I agree.
I look forward to it. But it's going to be challenging because it's not just the mountains, it's the high mountains of Colorado.
Yeah.
10,000 feet and above Leadville, Colorado, lack of cell signal. But we have a chopper, which won't have cell signal probably. So
we're closer to the Starlinks. Yeah,
maybe.
That's how that works, right?
That's exactly.
Okay, good.
And the summer just keeps going, and we'll talk more on the next episode about after that is Gravel Worlds, which is kind of the people responsible for getting us into cycling because they said nobody can cover our race, but do you guys want to give it a try because we're friends?
Not only that, nobody can cover gravel racing.
And now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, we started that.
We did. In North America, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I just want to touch on, our leader, our friend, the guy who runs the broadcast at Ironman, Mark Mossbach, is leaving. He's moving on to golf, moving back to golf.
Yeah.
Which seems, for cyclists, it's hard to, but I just want to, for one, say how important he's been to me personally, but also just as a company, BCC Live. He is one of the most chill, positive leadership roles. He just is. If I could do anything, I'd like to be more like Mark.
Yeah.
And he listens, and he doesn't get run over. He says, no, this is how we're doing it. Just do it. But he's a great, great person, and he's going to be missed.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like Christine Bowen, he'll take us with him.
Yeah. I love golf.
I love golf.
I love golf.
But in a real, for real though, the data in golf is awesome.
Oh man, yeah.
Like in broadcast golf, like I would love to have an insider look at how they track the ball and take off. I'm sure it's related to like indoor golf, but it's cool.
We've designed a golf ball that has a GPS device in it.
You heard it here first.
Just like we did for Ironman. That probably just got us axed from golf.
Yeah, right.
So, Mark, I can't imagine you still listen to our podcast, but if you do, we're going to miss you, and you are one of the best. And you're partially instrumental in our success because long before Gravel Worlds, you gave us a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you
said, why don't you guys try this, and we'll take a shot at you guys. And then we got lucky.
Yeah.
And it all went well. And then everybody was like, hey, these guys can do it. And it was pure luck the first time. It's not anymore.
I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, what is that called? The
Dunning-Kruger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like after our first broadcast, we're like, wow, we're pros. And then they never went that good again.
That's exactly.
But so thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Kudos.
100%.
And then on to a busy weekend. Have fun in Fort Collins. You guys all have fun here in the studio. Oh, we're going to have to figure out how to divide up all the Unity and all the live view packs. And it's going to be challenging.
It is.
Only tune in to one broadcast. Please do not try to watch both.
I support that. Yeah.
And
you just
so,
pick one.
Damn it. I keep forgetting to write an AI song.
We made one.
We did make one. So the host for the Business of Running conference was Chris Heisler, who
we work
with at Rock and Roll.
Great dude.
And
I gained a lot of newfound respect and joy in knowing that guy.
Yeah. We got to sit down with him at dinner and talk. And he was so good at making you feel seen. He started going through all these icebreaker questions, and we were having these deep conversations, just amazing stuff. It was so cool. So he and his brothers have a thing, or he and his siblings have a thing where you have to pick 5 celebrities, music, movies, 5 famous people that you're allowed to ask for a photo.
You're like buddies, like first name basis. Like, hey man, let's get a photo together.
You can't ask anyone else.
And they always approve, and
So you're not allowed to ask anyone outside of those 5. So you have to pick the 5 people that you would want more than anyone else in the world to get a photo with, a celebrity, or
anytime you want.
Anytime. Dylan's making his own version of this.
No, that's what it was. It's not like you just get one photo. It's like, no, like that guy's my dog. Let me go take a picture with him.
No, because you approach him and you say, hey, I got... Anyway. There's we can debate this later. Regardless, it was icebreaker questions like that you start thinking about these really deep stuff, and you're like, oh man, if I could only have 5 people that you just run into and could ask for a photo, if Tom
Keegan
Holland
Swinson.
isn't, if Keegan Swinson is on your list, but Sophia Villafania, thank you. If she's not, you couldn't ask her for a photo, but you could still be like, oh, hey, it's good to meet you. But if Keegan's on it, you could ask Keegan for a photo. It's a really interesting, oh man, who are these people that you...
Yeah. It would be Mick Jagger anyway, but...
Perfect.
Ooh, that's a good
one.
Sorry, Keegs.
Anyway, so it was stuff like that, and we talked for 30 minutes, an hour, going through all this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. He was on Family Feud. He and his siblings, they did it for his sister's 40th birthday, and they were on 3 nights. So they won 2 nights and lost the 3rd. And the 3rd night, they lost to the other family, only answered 2 answers correctly, but they stole the last one, and that let them win. And the last one was, if I were to say to you, or if you looked at your loved one and said, your eyes sparkle like blank, what's your first answer?
Stars.
Yep, that was number 2. Got another?
I said like a diamond.
Diamond was number 1. And that was 90 of the answers out of 100 of the survey. So all the other ones they had to guess. So they guessed several and missed them. And the other family guessed glitter. That was correct. So the other family won.
And
so
who says that? Your eyes shine like glitter?
Yeah. And so Chris was so mad. He was so upset. And he was like, I just hate glitter now. I hate everything about glitter. And I was like, oh, you messed up, man. So we wrote Chris an AI song about Family Feud and glitter.
The Glitter Confetti Blues.
Let's hear it.
Chris walked in, sharp as a tack. Family Feud, no turning back. Steve Harvey stare, oh, it could kill. Glitter rained, he lost the thrill. Shame in every round. Chris said no, but fate said yes. Glitter chaos, what a mess. The board lit up, but not his name. That glitter cloud, it sealed his shame. Steve's eyebrow raised, judgment fell. Chris's moment, a spark